Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael, and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named Spluter Magooter in the AITA subreddit. The post is titled AITA for not telling my sister her husband assaulted me. I am a 33-year-old woman who was sexually assaulted by my alcoholic brother-in-law when I was 24. It happened less than 6 months after I had moved 1.5 hours away from my parents' house. It took me 8 years to tell my husband, whom I had been dating for 4 months when it happened. Once I told him, it started explaining a lot of my weird behaviors, panic attacks when visiting my family, and night terrors being the two biggest. About a year ago, I told my parents everything that happened. My father was fairly silent. My mother tried to be understanding, but couldn't help herself from making comments like, "Why didn't you tell us?" and making jokes about how messed up my childhood was when I said I had been in therapy. At the time, I explained to my parents the difficulty I was having. I told them I needed their support to inform me if he was going to be around when I was visiting. I explained how it had impacted me from being around as often as I would like. My dad was quiet, and my mom carried on about how that shouldn't slow me down from visiting my family. Over the course of the last year, neither of my parents has even broached this topic since the day I told them. If my brother-in-law is around at a family gathering, my dad pays attention and is right by my side if he tries to talk to me. My mom, she gives him alcohol when he shows up already drunk and does things like set an extra place setting at family dinners just in case he shows up. It has been hurtful, and I haven't exactly felt supported by my family. My relationship with my sister has also deteriorated, although we were never super close to begin with. A few years ago, my mother announced to the family that she was officially giving me Thanksgiving to host. Since then, it has been a battle, and she tries to host every year. I finally put my foot down this year and said I would not come. I tried to explain to her how hurt I am and that I want to be in my own safe place. If my brother-in-law actually shows up, I think I will feel empowered to finally confront him. I got emotional trying to say this, and my mother told me not to cry. I lost it and told her I was allowed to have emotions and she was going to listen to them even if they made her uncomfortable. She was not happy with what I had to say to her and started swinging back with unrelated issues. I hung up on her because the conversation was going nowhere good, fast. After I got into the fight with my mom, I felt empowered to confront my brother-in-law. We talked. He tried to say he slightly remembered what he did to me, but wasn't sure because he was blackout drunk. I gave him every single detail. I also told him I was not looking to blow up my sister's life almost a decade later, but he needs to step up and be a better husband and father and also stop drinking. The next day, my mom told my sister about our fight. The main point of the fight was me not feeling supported around the asshole who sexually assaulted me. My sister doesn't know this part, so she thinks I am arguing about hosting Thanksgiving just because I am difficult. I got a long, nasty text from my sister for being rude to my mother. She carried on and called me a bad aunt for not being around my nephews enough and not spending more time with my family. I am hurt. I screenshotted the text and sent it to my brother-in-law so he has to at least see what I am going through because of him. So I have been attempting to protect my sister by not telling her this secret. Am I the asshole? Should I just spill the beans and let the cards fall where they may? Update 1. Saying I am attempting to protect my sister was the wrong choice of words. I think I have been trying to protect myself from her volatility. My thinking is definitely jumbled, but thanks for helping me work through straightening it out. Reddit. Update 2. I've reached out to my dad and asked to talk to him without my mother around. I'm going to tell him that I'm going to tell my sister. I'm going to ask him to go to her house before I do this and take my nephews so they don't get exposed to the aftermath of the conversation. OP proceeded to give us his final update in the comments. I talked to my sister. I asked her not to interrupt me, even if she wanted to, and she respected that. She quietly listened as I told her what happened and began sobbing. The first words out of her mouth were that I would never have to see him again. He will never be welcome at my house or my parents' house, according to her. She believed me 100%. She asked questions, including whether he was drunk when it happened. She acknowledged that the answer didn't really matter and that it was still inexcusable. This happened when we were all on a trip together visiting my grandparents. She didn't even remember going on the trip, so I walked her back to that weekend and we talked through the details. She also shared that my brother-in-law was raped by an alcoholic aunt when he was younger. I told her I called and confronted him on Saturday. She asked about our conversation and I told her everything. She asked me if he admitted to remembering it and said she doesn't allow him to drink in the house anymore because he blacks out and doesn't remember what he does. I told her if ever there was a reason to be 100% sober, I thought this was a pretty damn good one. She got angry, but not at me. She repeated several times that she's my big sister and her job is to protect me. I could feel her internalizing a lot of pain. My brother-in-law wound up in the hospital yesterday due to a staph infection, so she told me she wants to go home and beat the shit out of him, but can't do it in the hospital, so she will wait for him to get discharged. I explained that I do love my family, but the panic attacks and night terrors keep me away so I can protect myself. She told me she's been very angry at me for years for not being around, and knowing this changes things. She said that had she known, I never would have had to be around him all these years. She kept telling me she wished I had told her sooner. I told her how I always thought I'd defend myself in that type of situation, but for some reason froze. She acknowledged that everyone handles trauma differently, and it isn't my fault. We then both acknowledged that we were raised to repress any emotions that weren't positive, and that I had ultimately handled this situation how I had been raised alone and internalized. She then said I was a victim, I am not responsible for how I handled this trauma when it happened, and none of this was my fault. I felt heard. She told me again that she wished I had told her at the time. They didn't have any kids when this happened. She said she most likely would have divorced him. She doesn't see divorce as an option now because of the kids. I explained that I didn't have the tools in my toolbox at the time, and that's what I've been working on. I told her that until a year ago, I couldn't stand in an empty room and say what happened to me out loud or even write it on a piece of paper. She just sobbed. I told her I am very angry at my mother for telling half-truths and being so hurtful to me. She tried to make excuses for my mom telling her about the argument over the weekend. I told her how hurt I was at the most recent family gathering. My sister confirmed a week ahead of time that my brother-in-law was working and wouldn't be there. We walked into my parents' house and he was there, drunk. I watched my mother give him at least 3 beers and laugh and joke with him. Neither of my parents gave me a heads up he was there. My sister understood and apologized. I'm really happy my brother-in-law is in the hospital. It means my sister has time to herself to straighten out her own thoughts and make some plans. She is also on a shortened work-from-home schedule this week. It all seems serendipitous. She was at my parents' house. I hope they are helpful and kind to her. I hope she does a lot of thinking and makes decisions that are best for her and my nephews. If talking to her made me realize anything for sure, it's that my parents are pretty messed up people. I'm going to text my sister this morning. Considering the way she handled it, I think reaching out and trying to heal our relationship will be a good move. I also don't want my parents to do to her what they did to me. When the dust settles some, I'm going to talk to my sister about all the unhealthy behaviors from my parents. I think if we can stand up to their dysfunction together, everyone will be better off. I might reach out to my dad today. I am undecided. I will definitely not be reaching out to my mother. I am going to go extremely low contact with her for the next few months. Both of my parents have some apologizing to do before they'll be allowed back in my good graces. I am happy I did everything I did yesterday without speaking a word to my mother. There's something poetic about it. My husband still very much wants to have a come to Jesus. He asked if he can punch my brother-in-law if he ever sees him again, or at least slap him to the ground. He is also adamant that I am owed apologies from my parents individually and that they need to change their behaviors. I can't express how grateful I am to have a man like him in my life. He told me he would do this 100 times if it was what I needed. I know this is just the start in a lot of ways. Yesterday was like getting to the peak of Mount Everest. I still have to get down the mountain, but the worst of it is over. Artichoke said, if one of my kids came to me and said they had been sexually assaulted by another person, I would struggle with my rage toward the person who hurt my child. I absolutely would not hang out with them or give them alcohol. To this user Fishbulb said, the difference is that you probably love your child. Satan's Bitch said, "This is one of those posts with a bittersweet ending that will 100% make me cry. I am glad OP got to tell her sister without being attacked or accused, but hearing what their mother did and knowing what the brother-in-law did just breaks my heart for OP. Being a victim is never easy, but having someone so obviously not care is one of the worst things imaginable when it comes to recovering mentally from sexual assault." Kay Sarah said, "I was date raped when I was 19. He was a guy I worked with over the summer. He roofied my drink and I woke up to him with his hands around my neck and him having sex with me. I was terrified. I thought he was going to kill me. My legs and arms felt like cement. I couldn't move or get away. I passed back out and only woke the next morning. I never told a soul. I wish I had the strength then. Even though outwardly I was pretty independent and strong-willed, I still didn't have the strength to come forward. It took me over 20 years to even admit to myself that I was. No one wants to be a victim. You feel stupid, humiliated, and I didn't want my parents knowing because I didn't want them to look at me differently or with pity, their poor daughter who was raped. So much goes through your head. I just wanted to forget and pretend it didn't matter. Sexual assault happens way more than we realize or want to admit. One of my best friends was repeatedly raped by her stepfather and stepbrother. Her mother chose not to believe her, stayed with this guy, and treated my friend terribly. So listening to OP's mom blow off this revelation makes my blood boil. This second post was made in the relationship subreddit by a throwaway account. The post is titled, "My sister says I can't be in her wedding if I bring my boyfriend of 5 years. I met my boyfriend in college 7 years ago and we started dating 5 years ago. He is super close and loving with my family. He was there at my niece's births, baptisms, Christmas, vacations, and so on. We are extremely committed to each other for the long run, but do not want to get married until we are financially stable and both our careers are where we want them to be. My sister has been with her fiancé for 2 years and engaged for 6 months. She is the type of girl who has dreamed of getting married since she was a little girl. It did not matter who proposed, she just wanted to be married. I have never cared if I got married or not. As long as I have a good career and a happy relationship, I am fine. At the beginning of her relationship, she tricked me into going on a double date with her fiancé and his brother. She had said it was dinner with her and a friend, and it was most definitely not. The brother kept making passes at me the whole time, and I told him I had a boyfriend. The whole situation made me uncomfortable. At their engagement party, my boyfriend noticed that the brother would not stop staring at me, and we tried our best to avoid him. Every time I have seen this guy, he has been weird toward me. My sister wanted me, my twin, and 2 brothers in her wedding. The wedding is supposed to be next month at the beginning of May. My sister just told me that I am going to be walking down the aisle with her fiancé's brother. I told her that he makes me uncomfortable and I thought I would be walking with my own brother. Apparently, this is something her fiancé is insisting on, and she wants to make him happy. It seems like a pretty weird thing to insist on, and I know it is some scheme between the 2 brothers. My other siblings also thought it was weird and voiced their objections to our sister. She got upset and said this is her wedding and she will do what she wants. I told my boyfriend this and he was upset for me. He is confident enough in himself that he knows this guy would never be competition, but he knows how uncomfortable I am with this situation. The other day, we had family dinner at my mom's house. I took this as an opportunity to bring up the aisle situation with my mother around. My sister got extremely upset and started crying, saying I was trying to ruin her marriage. I was so confused, as was everyone else, and tried to explain that he makes me and my boyfriend extremely uncomfortable. She then said that I cannot bring my boyfriend to her wedding anymore, and if I do, then I am no longer a bridesmaid. She gave no reason as to why I cannot bring him, and my siblings were just as upset considering they like my boyfriend a lot better than my sister's fiance. I thought I would give her a few days to calm down and rethink, but she has not changed her mind. My 19-year-old brother's girlfriend is still invited to the wedding. My boyfriend is an incredible guy and has been nothing but kind and generous to my sister. His feelings are hurt, but he still wants me to go to the wedding. I think my sister is being an unreasonable asshole, and I will be pretty pissed off at the wedding if my life partner is not there with me. Being her bridesmaid is something I can live without. So should I bring my boyfriend or go without him, or should I demand that my boyfriend be allowed to come to her wedding and that she is being super unfair? I love my sister, but I do not understand why she is forcing some silly request by her creepy brother-in-law. I do not know what to do, and my family is no help either. Update. Most of the comments said I shouldn't go to the wedding at all, but she is my sister and I don't want to miss her wedding. I went to my parents' house with my brothers and told them about everything the brother-in-law has done that makes me super uncomfortable and how my sister is disrespecting my relationship. My dad was pretty pissed off about the date stunt she pulled and is on my side. My mom, however, says that I need to try and resolve this with her because if I am not part of the wedding party, people will talk. I honestly couldn't care less about what extended family has to say. My mom called a family meeting and told my sister and my twin to come to the house. My dad asked her why I was no longer walking with my brother, to which she responded by saying that it is what her fiancé wants and she just wants to make him happy. I pressed the issue, asking why it is such a big deal for me to walk with him and that he is super weird and I wouldn't be surprised if he tried to assault me. That really pissed her off. She started crying and yelling, saying a bunch of nonsense about how this is all she's ever wanted and that we're trying to ruin her special day, blah blah blah. I was tired of the arguing and just straight up said I'll go to the wedding as a guest, then leave before the reception. My twin and younger brother took my side and said they don't want to be in the wedding party if I am not. This made my sister lose her mind. She was screaming, calling me a bunch of names that I can't say here, bitch, cunt, whore, and also calling my boyfriend names. I decided to leave and let my parents calm her down, but before I could walk out, she ran at me and yanked my hair while still screaming. She wouldn't let go, so I yanked hers too, and she let go. She has extensions, and apparently I messed them up and ripped some hair out. She tried to grab me again, so I punched her in the face. I didn't mean to hit her, it was just my instant reaction to someone coming at me. So now she has a black eye, a cut on her cheek, and is missing some hair. She's absolutely livid because her bachelorette party is next week. My mom is mad at me, my dad is not. My sister is now saying that she's going to press charges against me. Can she actually do that, or is she just trying to scare me? She's also pissed off because my other siblings won't be in the wedding. She told my mom if I apologize to her and agree to be in the wedding, she'll let me walk with my brother. I feel like that is nonsense and she will still make me walk with the brother-in-law last minute. At this point, I feel like it's not worth the trouble and I just don't want to go at all. My mom and dad want me to do what she asked because they're paying for the wedding and want all of their kids there. My twin and younger brother said they'll do whatever I want to do, but I don't think I should be the reason they don't go. My boyfriend feels like he started all this drama when none of it is his fault. My sister believes I ruined her wedding and I don't know what to do. So the options are go to the wedding as a guest, be in the wedding, or not go at all. My parents will be upset if I don't go, and I really don't want any more tension, but she disrespected me and my relationship. As soon as this wedding is over, I'm going to limit my contact with her for a while. Update 2. The first part of this is written before the wedding and the second part will be after the wedding. First off, I want to say I didn't know this post had blown up like it did until a few days ago. When I first posted it, it only had about 30 comments and now I've seen thousands and received lots of messages. I've also received some messages and read some comments about how I'm not responding to people or answering questions. I don't think I'm required to answer anyone. I've heard tons of crazy theories and lots of people saying they hope my sister attacks me again or that I should get her arrested or scream rape at her wedding. While these are all interesting, this is unfortunately my real life and not a movie. I will try to clear up any questions in this post. Some people asked if race is an issue and it's not. My family is French and Puerto Rican, my boyfriend is Italian, and my sister's fiance is just white. I don't know what his ethnicity is. There was also some confusion about my siblings. I am one of 5 kids. My twin is a girl. I guess that got misunderstood when I said 2 girls and 2 guys. I meant that besides my sister getting married, there were 4 of us walking down the aisle. I kept saying a twin instead of sister so she wouldn't get confused with the one getting married. My sister is the second oldest. Also, I don't think money is an issue either. My family's not rich, just middle class. The reason her wedding is getting paid for and not mine is because she didn't go to college and I did. They paid for the majority of my tuition, and I don't want a big fancy wedding either. Some people also asked why they don't revoke their money from her for this behavior, but the wedding has already been paid for a while, so there's no getting their money back. My sister did still have a black eye at her bachelorette party and changed the venue to a darker place, and she wore lots of makeup. My twin brothers, my boyfriend, and I went to the club that night instead and had a fabulous time and got trashed. I heard from her friend that she was telling everyone she got hit with a car door and not my fist. My sister has always been a bit unhinged. When she was in high school, she and my twin used to fight all the time. After every breakup my sister has ever had, she has broken down and shut down completely and felt her life was over. I've seen this since she was 12. I used to get in lots of arguments with my parents over them excusing her behavior, which ultimately made me decide to go to college across the country. During college, I rarely talked to her. When I came back home, she had matured and our relationship was good for a while. She still occasionally has huge meltdowns over small things like this wedding. I sent my future brother-in-law a text asking why he and his brother are so obsessed with me, to which he didn't respond. My dad and I went down to his place and he said my sister was the one who kept telling him that I was interested and would leave my boyfriend. So I don't even know which one of them came up with this plan. My dad got mad and told him to leave me and my boyfriend the hell alone. I have told my sister to go to therapy for years and she's refused. I tried to have my mom see if she could get her to go to family therapy with me, and she also refused but said she would talk with me and my mom. When she and her fiance first started dating, she brought him to a work New Year's party and he brought his brother, and I also attended. This was her first boyfriend who had shown any interest in getting married one day. I guess the brother had said he found me very attractive, and my sister instantly jumped the gun on that. She told him that I was not in a serious relationship and that he had a strong chance with me and he's just my type. So he's been under the impression that my boyfriend is just a placeholder, which is extremely not the case. He's just as delusional as my sister. This made no sense to me, especially since my twin is single. We are fraternal, so we don't look the same, and we're different heights with very different personalities, but she's still a very pretty girl and single. My sister has expressed some jealousy of my relationship over the years, so that could be a factor in her trying to break us up. She's always made comments about how she'll never have what I have with my boyfriend. About a month ago, she found out she's pregnant. She thinks if she doesn't make this brother thing happen, then her fiancé will leave her, and being a single mom is more frightening for her than her family hating her. It's still early enough that she does have other options, but she's committed to this for some reason. This was an intense conversation, and we also talked about other things, so this was all I could get out of her before my patience ran out. I did snap on her and said some things along the lines of, "Sorry you're so pathetic that you date any guy who looks at you and you still can't find a good relationship, and you will be divorced before labor." Yes, it was a little mean, but I was very heated in the moment and wanted to say something worse. My boyfriend is very adamant about us going to the wedding despite all the nonsense my sister is putting him through. My boyfriend doesn't have close relationships with his siblings and has always loved being a part of this family. He wants me to maintain a relationship with mine so I don't regret it later. He's still hurt, though, that my sister has been going to such great lengths to get him out of the picture. I've tried to reassure him the best I can that everyone still loves him and I always will. We're going for the ceremony as guests and then leaving as soon as they say I do. My two brothers and twin sister are walking together as a trio. We took wedding pictures together at a park so our parents could have something of all of us. They haven't decided yet if they're staying for the whole wedding, but they're going to feel it out. My older brother is staying the whole time so he can watch the brother and have some words with him. A lot of people said to have my boyfriend propose at her wedding, but I don't care enough to deliberately try and ruin her wedding. That will not make the situation better in the slightest, and I honestly don't ever want a public proposal. I think that's super tacky. My boyfriend and I have just been enjoying ourselves and not worrying about any of this nonsense. I'm not worried about my sister attacking me again, and if she does, I can easily defend myself. She can't fight for anything, which is why I don't know why she started in the first place. Also, some people said, isn't it incest if sisters date brothers? But it is not at all, and I have cousins who are married to sisters. Not excusing the behavior, just saying that's not incest at all. After the wedding, I showed up in my bridesmaid dress because I wasn't going to buy another one, and it's a very nice dress. My boyfriend and I tried to go in as late as we could to limit the amount of family asking me why I'm not in the wedding. A few aunts and uncles asked, and I just said my sister lost her mind and to ask her. I tried to stay with some cousins who I told what happened and who know how my sister can be an occasional nut. The ones who knew my boyfriend's invite was revoked were pissed, considering some of their plus ones were just dates. We sat in the front row where my sister, her husband, and the brother could see me with my very serious, handsome, amazing, loving boyfriend. He held my hand the whole time and made sure I was okay. This wedding just confirmed for me that I do not want a big wedding. We can have a party at most. There was only one time that the brother was staring at me, and I quickly shut that down by kissing my boyfriend. As soon as they all walked back down the aisle, I said my goodbyes to the people who deserved it, and we left. We went to a bar, danced, and had a good time. I'm glad I went to the wedding so I can say, I told you so, when this marriage ends in 6 months. I'm glad that delusional guy saw me kissing the man I love because that will never be him. My twin had quite a few drinks at the wedding and was being very mouthy with my sister. I didn't ask her to say something, but she would have done that with or without booze. My younger brother told almost every family member that my sister went crazy on me, and that's why I wasn't at the reception. My older brother did talk to the brother-in-law, but I don't know what he said. I didn't ask many other questions, and this is just what they told me. I feel really bad for my sister, honestly. She baby-trapped herself with a subpar bottom feeder. That man has zero qualities that would make me jump through all these hoops. He has the personality of an Adidas sandal. I wish my sister had more self-respect and raised her standards. I don't know much about their relationship or if he's abusive. I would like to think that she at least has enough respect for herself not to put up with that. Maybe they're in love. Maybe he's using her. Who knows? This marriage may not last, but she's now attached to him for at least the next 18 years. While I sort of get her reasoning for not wanting to be a single mom, my brother is a single dad and doing just fine. I don't plan on talking to her for quite a while. I don't know how things turned out for them not getting me with the brother. After prying, they still wouldn't give me clear answers, so I don't know how serious the husband actually is about his loser brother getting laid. Those brothers were either neglected or breastfed until they were teens. I was already planning on going on vacation this summer with my boyfriend, but I might extend it now. Who knows? Maybe we'll even get married in France for fun. Anyway, thanks for all the support. Sorry that this ending wasn't as dramatic as you all wanted it to be. I'm not expecting an apology. I honestly don't care anymore and just want to move on with my life, be happy, and not deal with any more psycho behavior. I'm just glad that I haven't received any messages from the brother-in-law or my mom and that I have a great man. If there are any questions I missed, feel free to let me know. A lot of your comments made my boyfriend and me laugh. Culture Inner said, yeah, I'm thinking it was jealousy, plain and simple. She's 31 and has been with a lot of losers, and her sister trips and falls into a great relationship at 20. Gotta break that up. I feel sorry for the future kid though. Tom1252 said, I remember reading this initially, but that update kinda changed my opinion somewhat. This really sounds like a family that thrives on petty drama. Little sister, it goes without saying, is completely unhinged, but OP sits in the front row and kisses her boyfriend to make a point. The twin gets drunk and mouthy. Mom is all people will talk. Dad and OP confront the future brother-in-law for some reason, and then OP is saying things like, sorry you're so pathetic that you date any guy who looks at you and you still can't find a good relationship, and you will be divorced before labor. Seriously, I can't understand not just saying, hey, you're out of line and until you get your act together, don't contact me. People always make family out to be this big, messy ordeal. Blood ties run thick and all that, but it's really not. That's just unnecessary drama you're inviting in. This all just sounds so petty and OP keeps inviting it, fully knowing how it's going to go down. Thank you so much for making it to the end of the video, and thank you also to partner of the channel, Gamersupps. Use code DLAM to support the channel and get 10% off of your purchase, link in the description. I'm sure many of you like me have a hankering for daily caffeine, so go check them out. Lately, I've been a big fan of Titty Milk and Acid Rain, but they've got dozens of other flavors for y'all to try out. Anyway, thanks again for reaching the end, and I hope you all have an amazing passage of the next 24 hours.